का कस्टम है ना, क्या करेंगे?
Sure.
कोई बोलेगा कि नहीं नहीं, सऊदी अरेबिया में इसमें मुस्लिम लोग का तो इक्वल हो गया है, तो क्या? तो फिर भाई ज्यूज लोग का भी तो बोल सकते हैं आप कि उन लोग भी तो करता है, तो
Correct.
क्या आप भी करिएगा क्या? यू विल टेक दैट एग्जाम्पल? अरे थिंक अबाउट योर ओन सोसाइटी ना,
Right.
हाउ विल यू डू इट? The Dawoodi Muslims, some of them, they are continued to follow the Hindu Succession Act.
As far as certain properties are concerned,
Yes.
right.
So what do? You tell them, कि नहीं, you have to follow Sharia.
Also, I was just having a genuine question. Who decides which personal law should be applicable to whom? For instance, if I was born a Hindu, can I choose not to follow Hindu personal law in certain respects?
There's only one law which does now. If you get married under the Special Marriage Act,
Right,
then you can take your choice. The
right,
same thing you can do for UCC.
right.
Make the
Make
law
it optional, which
optional.
is what Ambedkar had suggested, I think, in the first
Right,
mention of UCC in
right.
Constituent Assembly,
Everything
right?
is there about this issue in the Constituent Assembly
Correct.
debate. You
Right,
don't have to be an expert here. And nowadays all this is on online, so you
right,
can
right.
easily do
No,
it.
I was reading it because that option of voluntarity
Mhm.
that Ambedkar was introducing seemed to be the most plausible way of doing something close to
Huh.
this, that
It-
you allow them to choose. You
Choose.
can either choose your personal law or choose this, and you
See,
have to sign a contract
see,
that I
if
am
you
bound
if
by
you
this
don't
law.
do, then you have to start making amendments apart from UCC. You have to make constitutional amendment. What will you do with Article 13?
Right.
It says it protects the custom and the usage. What will you do about that?
But
The source of all laws is custom.
okay, sure, fair enough.
But if they are financial laws, it may not be custom
Mm-hmm.
precisely,
Right,
but generally laws which concern social practices, family law, for instance,
right.
it starts, the root is custom. From
Uh-huh.
there only it starts.
Right.
Either it be Hindu or Parsi or Sikh, anyway.
Right.
Or if I go down south, Lingayat and Okaliga, the Hindu, they are considered Hindus, but they have special advantages
Uh-huh.
of custom still. So that must be clear. If people think कि custom is of no use kind of thing, नहीं ये खत्म हो गया. Many customs, as per our new constitution, which is against the constitutional provisions,
Mm-hmm.
or it has been specifically taken out by a specific law, then that custom is gone.
Right.
That must be understood.
Correct.
Now, once you have understood that, you must understand that there are special provisions in my constitution as well as in some of the family laws where custom will prevail over the law.
Okay.
There are,
Right.
for example, since you're in Jharkhand, the Chotnagpur Tenancy Act
Right.
and the Santhal Sonar Tenancy Act, although it doesn't deal with family law, it is about property rights, land rights. Itself has a section, the Chotnagpur Tenancy has a section called saving of custom.
Mm-hmm.
It says that notwithstanding anything law, the custom will prevail over the law. It says that.
Right.
So section 75, 76, 77, it's there, specifically given. So like that you can have in other laws also.
Where you let the custom prevail over the law in certain given circumstances.
Right.
Right.
Even the Hindu Marriage Act has a section, I don't remember. Since you're going to write, so I'm instead of giving you just an interview, I'm trying to make
Oh,
it.
absolutely. I want it to be
Yes.
more of a conversation and
I
discussion, sir,
I
for
I,
sure.
I wouldn't like it to be just कि ठीक है बोल रहा है.
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
क्या बोलते हैं वो नेशनल चैनल में बैठा हुआ टाइप का,
Not at all.
See, very good.
Right.
If I okay, it says savings.
Uh-huh.
This saving. The Hindu Marriage Act. Everybody is talking about Hindu Marriage Act. अभी तो UCC लेके
Right. Right.
that is the impression
Correct.
gathering around. And that may be politically engineered impression, but as people in the judiciary, we don't have that impression at all
Right.
because the acts are different. The Shariat Act,
Mm-hmm.
the Hindu Code Bill,
Right.
forget the the acts that came after that Code Bill, and so many things happened in Constituent Assembly. People objected. You can't do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's our religion. You can't hurt our religion. Uh, Syama Prasad Mukherjee, he resigned in this court, but Nehru and he insisted, uh, Ambedkar, that no, you must do something. Then it was decided by Mr. Rao. We had another constitution. We had, I think his name was B.T. Rao. So he made a compromise. Said no, we will not have it in fundamental rights.
Mm.
We will separate. We'll make this directive principle. We'll put it in part 4 of the Constitution,
Right.
not part 3 of the Constitution.
Mm.
Okay. So it became that these will be state policies. How we will proceed further. Fundamental rights, though, is universal right.
Right. Right.
Okay. Human rights kind of.
Mm.
And many things were added, right to food, right to the living in dignity, all new things were added, but basics were there at that time. And this was separated that we'll have the state policy of how, and there's not only one, there are from Article 36 to Article 51.
The directive.
There are directives, there are 16 of them.
Right.
And we have made many laws concerning those things, and there has never been controversy. Like Equal Wages Act,
Right.
women have,
Right.
but they don't get.
Because it is not as enforceable as a fundamental right part of the
Because it's not enforceable.
Education
Act, Manrega,
Mm-hmm.
then all those labor laws,
Right.
and these principles of our part 4 are in 3 parts. One is socio-economic,
Right.
second is Gandhian principles, and third one is where Article 44 UCC comes. They are principles which are you can say liberal and intellectual principles.
Right.
Huh. Like we are having in court cases in Supreme Court now that वो जो same-sex marriage, LGBT and all that,
Right.
these are intellectual things. I mean, if you can't go into socio-economic, or you can't go into Gandhian principles, so you have panchayati raj, which only came after the 73rd, 74th amendment.
Right.
Right? Or you have prohibition.
Under the Gandhi principle.
उसको तो कहानी you know very well.
Right.
वो केरला वाले लोग तो प्रोहिबिशन करने से तो मारपीट हो जाए फिर तो क्या करेगा. वो तो थोड़ी बोलना है कि डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल में है यूसीसी तो उसको करना ही है. It has to be done because it is the Amrit Varsh, or it is 75 years. अरे बहुत और है. Take it easy. It's given in the constitution itself that the state shall endeavor
to do these things.
It's not enforceable, no.
Right.
You have to see how the society is developing, how it is being and most of these personal with their theory.
of how they understood these traditions
और
and
उनको क्या करना था ना, वो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में उसको क्या करना था, जैसे हम लोग ऑलवेज पढ़ते हैं तो डिवाइड एंड रूल, तो वाज इट डिवाइड एंड रूल और वाज इट टू ब्रिंग पीस? आई डोंट वांट टू गेट इनटू दैट, आई वाजंट बोर्न दैट टाइम,
Mhm.
बट व्हाटएवर यू वांट टू थिंक, फॉर मी post constitution child,
Uh-huh.
for me that's history.
Right.
That's history. But then when I read my constitution, I have an article 13 which says that ये जो पुरानी कानून सब हैं उसको आप इसी तरह से नहीं उड़ा सकते.
Hmm.
वो भी है ना, I will read it out for you. Okay. Article 13. Laws inconsistent with or in derogation of the fundamental rights.
Right.
What will happen to them? All laws in force in the territory of India immediately before the commencement of this constitution, insofar as they are inconsistent with the provisions of this part, that is fundamental,
Fundamental right.
shall to the extent of such inconsistency be void. ये तो क्लियर बोल दिया.
Correct.
ठीक है, लेकिन उसमें फिर एक्सेप्शन डालता है ना लॉ में. हाँ, the state shall not make any law which takes away or abridges the rights conferred by this part, and any law made in contravention of this clause shall to the extent of the contravention be void. मैंने एक बैग लेके भाग नहीं सकते आप. टेक इट इजी, टेक इट इजी बोल रहा है इजी.
Mm-hmm.
और फिर बोलता है in this article unless the context otherwise requires, law includes any ordinance, मैंने before
Right.
order, even an order,
Right.
bylaw, rule, regulation, notification, custom or usage
Right.
having in the territory of India the force of law.
Fall
तो
under
फिर
this
ये जो
category.
और other customs, most of it will be Hindu customs. Don't forget.
Right.
Nobody is talking about it. For example, uh, for example, in the south, since you are Hindu, newspaper is from the south. In the south, everybody will understand कि भगनी से मैंने अपने
First cousin.
हाँ फर्स्ट कजन लोग बोलते हैं,
Right.
बट एक्चुअली इट इज भगनी, बहन का बच्चा,
Right. Okay.
बहन का,
हाँ.
उससे शादी करना तो एकदम टॉप शादी है.
Right.
तब वो क्या करेंगे उसको, वो तो प्रोटेक्टेड भी है. आप बोलिएगा कि विमेन वाला राइट है, इसको इक्वल करना है, यूनिफॉर्म करना, नॉट इक्वल, सॉरी,
हाँ.
यूनिफॉर्म करना है ना, तो सब पर लागू होना चाहिए ना.
Correct.
और जैसे हिंदू लॉ में है कि अब जब मैरिज आप कीजिएगा तो इतना डिग्रीज का डिफरेंस होना चाहिए, अपना सब है ना, तो फिर उसमें क्या करेंगे, जस्ट
Correct. I
giving
understand.
there are many others over there in the south.
Sure.
There are many other customs which are protected now over here, and these customs have the force of law.
Right.
Another I'll give you from Bihar. Amongst the Maithil Brahmins, see, the marriage in Hindu is a sacrament.
Sacrament, not a contract.
It's not a contract. Now then you have to make it into contract.
Right.
If I go back,
Right.
but you have put in divorce,
And made it already more like a contract.
more like a contract.
Just by putting a provision to exit the union,
Exactly.
you are making it a contract.
Contract.
Right.
बट वो तो उसमें तो कोई झगड़ा नहीं किया ना, बोला नहीं विमेन का राइट है, उसको बहुत हालत खराब है, ये है वो है करके तुम डाल दिया उसको, तो वहां तो कोई रिलीजन का झगड़ा नहीं किया. हाँ, जो झगड़ा करना था वो पहले हो चुका था, और उस झगड़ा में 1955 से सब चेंजेस हो रहा था इन एडॉप्शन, इन प्रॉपर्टी लॉज. तो प्रॉपर्टी लॉज तो टिल 2005 तो उसमें इक्वल राइट्स तो था ही नहीं हमारा हिंदू वीमेन को. और फिर भी लोग नहीं दे रहे हैं उसको राइट्स. हाँ, क्या बोलते हैं, नहीं हमारा कस्टम है ना, आपने शादी किया, आप तो कन्यादान कर दिया ना, हम तो कन्यादान करके आपको जितना देना था आपको प्रॉपर्टी का हिस्सा दे दिया. और बहन लोग भी सोचती है अब क्या भाई से लड़ना है, अब भौजाई से लड़ना है, छोड़ो यार, या छोड़ देता है. तो फिर क्या करें इसके बारे में. तो जो हम विमेन का राइट का बात कर रहे हैं वो तो नहीं एग्जीक्यूट हो रहा है. तो ये सब चीज सोचकर जो जस्टिस अरुण मिश्रा था हमारा 2021 में, वो बोला कि नहीं ये सब नहीं चलेगा आपके वो कि 2005 के पहले वाला बाद वाला डेथ बिफोर 2005
Mm-hmm.
डेथ आफ्टर 2005 ही सेड नथिंग डूइंग वो जिस दिन से पेट में आ गया बच्चा ना उसी दिन से उसका फुल राइट है लड़का लड़की सब
Obviously, yeah, makes sense.
ठीक ठीक है हिंदू लॉ में इलिजिटिमेट चिल्ड्रन को फुल राइट है कि करना है
Mm-hmm.
अरे दूसरा आप किए तभी तो इलिजिटिमेट हो रहा है ना 55 के पहले ना अनलिमिटेड शादी कर सकता था हिंदू लोग उसी के लिए ऑब्जेक्शन हो रहा था अभी वही ऑब्जेक्शन कर रहे हैं कि मुसलमान लोग चार्टर क्यों करेगा उस समय भी यही ऑब्जेक्शन था कि आप सिंगल हमारा क्यों कर रहे हैं मेरा कस्टम है मेरा रिलीज प्रैक्टिस है एक्सेट्रा अभी तो फिर वही बात आप कर रहे हो इतना हुआ था कि जो आरएसएस का गुरुजी लोग थे गोलवालकर एंड आई फॉरगेट द अदर नेम नॉट so well versed with
Uh-huh.
politics short
Head
quickly
के बाद.
Hedgever, yes, right, Hedgever, who, if I remember correctly, sometime in August 1964 or 65, no,
Mm-hmm.
something like that, in the 60s.
Right.
उन लोग तो स्पेसिफिकली एक आर्टिकल लिख के यूसीसी का अगेंस्ट में लिखा
Right.
और अभी वही लोग बोल रहा है कि लागू करो अब लागू किसको करो अरे उसका कोई ड्राफ्ट बनाते तब ना
Correct, correct.
तो you should have a bill
Correct, correct, correct.
there
There has to be some specifics to
like in
debate.
all laws you make a bill and you put it in the public domain for people to give comment
Discuss.
like environmental law recently you have done many environment
Right,
law
right.
mining law you have done many
Sure.
तो फिर इसमें आप क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो ऐसे ही बोले जा रहे हो सकता है कि शायद आज कैबिनेट में पास करेंगे
Hmm.
आज कैबिनेट मीटिंग है हो सकता है बट वी डोंट नो लेकिन ये भी तो सोचना चाहिए हमारा कि 21st जो लॉ कमीशन था हमारा जस्टिस चौहान
Said
वाला
no need.
वो तो बहुत डिटेल में 180 ईच एंड एवरी लॉ को स्टडी करके उसमें एग्जैक्टली कि क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स है इसको करने में और देन ही सेड कि नो इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल वी शुड नॉट बी इन अ हरी टू डू दिस बिकॉज इट्स वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड
Sure.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल among the Daudi Muslims in Gujarat, वो लोग तो ये करते हैं फीमेल म्यूटिलेशन
It has. है ही
करते हैं
है.
उसके
But
अलावा भी आपको
उसके अलावा the protections that 371A through I grants to states for civil justice, for criminal justice,
A B
to
C D there are lots of
no,
them
no, I'm saying A to I,
okay
all the through
A
all,
to I
yeah, yeah,
A
whatever,
is for Nagaland
Nagaland,
हाँ,
and I think G is for Meghalaya, similarly,
yes
Mizoram, if I'm not
Mizoram
right. So there are, and in those sections, it is very explicitly said
Hmm.
when it comes to civil justice, criminal justice, transfer of land, you have to protect
so
customary law.
हाँ,
No,
and
no,
also in apart from 371 I have the fifth schedule
and the sixth schedule,
sixth schedule
right?
so what do you do
So my point is, in this context, I wanted to understand already, in the absence of a UCT, customary law already interacts with court system, right?
yes
Certain disputes that are settled by customary law come up to the courts,
हाँ
and then the courts. How does that
see
interaction work
customary
currently?
law बोलने से ना गड़बड़ हो जाता है custom can never be law
Okay, fine. Let's say custom
customary practices
practices. Right,
even here it says custom or usage and
right.
practices see what you custom क्या होता है ना custom is something which must be archaic in origin
Okay.
only then it is custom you you can't say like suppose south okay uh, वो जो साबरीमाला वाला जो है ना
Correct, correct,
ओके
correct, correct.
वो तो कस्टम है when it started we don't know it's archaic in origin now you want to change this same problem
Mm-hmm.
and similar there are 3-4 cases I think in pending in the Supreme Court एक है वो तमिलनाडु
People's Talak also was a similar thing about protecting custom only, no? The dissent in that favored protecting custom.
okay
And
no
it is
no but the law that was made they only criminalized it
correct, correct. But
Otherwise, so what Supreme Court said, the same thing they have done.
right,
They have not done anything new. करेगा ना ऐसा 3 बार बोल के
FIR हो
तो
गया.
तेरे को FIR करके जेल डाल देंगे. अरे भाई तो फिर ये हमारा हिंदू वाला में भी करो ना कि तुम दूसरा शादी करेगा ना तो तुमको जेल डाल देंगे. कर दो.
या भाग जाओगे तो डाल देंगे.
हाँ जब अबैंडन करके चले जाओगे तो हम तो डाल देंगे. अब
हाँ.
ये जो सेक्शन 29 है उसमें तो हमारा देखो ये हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट. हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट सेक्शन 29 में हमको क्लियरली बोलता है nothing contained in this act shall be deemed to affect any right recognized by custom or conferred by any special enactment to obtain the dissolution of a Hindu marriage, whether solemnized before or after the commencement of this act. ये जो शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब वाला लोग है 5th शेड्यूल में हमारा झारखंड के अलावा और है ना आंध्र प्रदेश तक है 10, 11 of them. तो उनका तो ये तो बाय कस्टम उनका तो प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा ना. इसको क्या करेंगे तब इसको हाउ वी यूज इट इन कोर्ट. अभी कोई लड़के आई हमारा क्लाइंट बन आई हैव डन दिस दैट्स व्हाई राइट एंड वो तो हस्बैंड पुट इन थिंक कि नहीं शी फाइल्ड फॉर डिवोर्स. ओके द हस्बैंड सेड नो
that our customer doesn't allow divorce.
so
that's what the husband argued.
so
then what happens sir?
Okay. तो वो बोला कि नहीं होगा तो ठीक है हम लोग का यहाँ पे डिसमिस हो गया. डिसमिस हो गया. वी वेंट टू हाई कोर्ट. राइट. हाई कोर्ट गया. हाई कोर्ट में जाके उसको क्या करे दिमाग लगाया बहुत कुछ. यहाँ भी बोला था वो सब चीज. लेकिन लोअर कोर्ट में तो कोई सुनता नहीं है. मैंने देर I understand what you mean. So जो लीगल बात सब उतना नहीं करता है वो प्रोसीड्यूरल बिकॉज़ इट्स अ कोर्ट ऑफ फैक्ट्स नॉट अ कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ. तो देसी फैक्ट्स है थियरी राइट. ओके खत्म कर दिया. वहां गया वहां पे आर्ग्यू किया सेम थिंग. वहां पे आर्गुमेंट था हमारा कि फैमिली कोर्ट्स एक्ट इट्स अ सेकुलर एक्ट एंड इट इज एप्लीकेबल ऑन एवरीवन
regardless of schedule,
like the CRPC or
IPC, correct.
Okay. or the Civil Procedure Code.
Correct.
It's applicable on everybody because it's written in the law itself. Right. So since it's applicable on everybody, then how is it that my petition in the civil court was rejected, dismissed? So it was restored.
Now you were went back to the lower court.
And I got my divorce.
Correct. But the argument, the
only
civil court's decision was...
Wait, the only thing I have to do, that I have to show that I have followed the customary practice. What is the customary practice? In the Urao it is different, in the Munda it is different. In fact, in most of the tribes, divorce is not there.
Right. But the separation, there is some ritual that can be done to separate a couple.
So those things are followed or not. Was there a panchayat or not?
These things happen that the court is bound to grant you the divorce on the petition.
Yes, they can't dismiss it. I can file under family
Correct.
court.
My point is, sir, what happens when this petitioner, when your client has not done those customary practices and still wants a divorce?
It's like anything, na? Any law, if you are not followed it, तो फिर तो problem होगा ना. फिर आपको हो सकता है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में स्पेशल केस में स्पेशल पावर्स इनहेरेंट पावर्स ऑफ द कोर्ट में वो कर दे. But in the lower portions, the procedure is very important.
That is very important that you have to have followed customary practices in order to come to court.
To claim.
Right, to claim.
So one of the first test is custom must be archaic in origin.
Correct.
These are settled by our
President's order.
Different orders of high courts, different high courts.
And Supreme Court.
Right. So there.
Settled.
So one is that it must be archaic in origin. We should not be able to say, 15 years ago you started this.
Right,
so you can't do
sure.
And second, it must be local. Custom cannot be universal.
Okay.
Custom has to be
specific to that geography, to that population.
That maybe that family, it has to be local. It cannot be universal.
Okay.
To explain to you, in some in the south again, I'm sorry to keep saying
no,
the marriage has to be done in the daytime. You can't do it
we do it in the morning. Yes,
right.
Yeah, it's not inauspicious to do it at night actually.
Why?
I don't know. I have often
because the Vedas say so.
Okay,
you cannot marry during night time. But in North India, everybody रात में दारू पी के
marriage होता है, right?
हल्ला कर रहा है.
So that would be an example of a localized nature of a custom.
हाँ, हमारा custom must always be evolving, adapting and evolving. It cannot be static. If it
Yes.
becomes static, it's a law.